5. Dealing with merge conflicts, remote repositories, and developing as a team. In this video, I'll show you some common issues encountered when you develop as a team, how to resolve merge conflicts, how to set up multiple repositories, and how to change the URL connections to those repositories. You'll also learn how to fetch changes, pull changes, and merge changes from other repositories successfully. Let's get started. So, you may remember our previous graph, where we had the repository that was then forked over to your repository, at which point you crossed the line from GitHub into Git when you forked it down to your computer, at which point you made changes, then pushed them back up, and then sent a pull request. Well, imagine if their repository was being updated during that time, and you need a way to keep your stuff up to date. Now, you could always fork it over again, create a new repository, clone that back down, create all your new work on it, and send it back up, and hope it hasn't been updated in the meantime, but there's a more efficient way to do this. You can create an arrow, essentially, that goes from his repository straight into yours, allowing you to pull the latest data from him in one command. And I'll show you what this command looks like. So here's us in our first repo right now. Currently there's nothing to commit, and if I run a git remote-v, you'll see that there's only one remote connection, and this is my repository. I can add another remote connection if I wanted to. Now, it would make no sense to add his branch, or his repository, as a remote connection, as he's already forked it from me, so he's already got a copy of it, and he sends me pull requests, so I would have no need to pull his latest data when he's sending it to me. So instead, I'm going to go to a completely unrelated file. You can add any public file as a repository, as a remote connection. That being said, it's a good idea to make sure all your remote repositories are actually relevant. In any case, adding a remote repository is easy. You can simply take this URL, copy that to the clipboard of any project or any particular repository that you want added into your list of remotes, and then run this command, git remote add, and then you need to give it a name. This one I'm going to call, what's a good name? I don't even know. Rob repo. Rob's repository, at which point you paste in the URL. Done. Now if I run git remote-v, you'll see there's two different connections. So if I wanted to pull the latest data from Rob's repository, I could run git pull, and instead of origin master, I'd pull Rob repo master branch. That being said, this would be a bad idea, as his product and or project is completely unrelated from ours. So let's go ahead and remove that real quick. To remove the remote, you'd simply go git remote rm for remove, and then the name of the repository you wish to remove. Done. And it's gone, we're back to just origin. There we go. Let's see. So in our repository right here, I need to show you now how to pull down the latest changes, as well as merge conflict resolution, just in case there are changes that have occurred since the last time you've updated your repository. And in our case, we are currently up to date with our repository here. You can see that right there has Jupyter was here, which was our latest change. And if I open up Sublime, you'll see that right now we have the exact same thing. However, I would like to show you what it looks like if the repository on GitHub was ahead of your local machine, and this will happen throughout the course of development. So, I'm going to go ahead and roll back Git real quick. Don't worry about this command and what it does, just know that it rolls back one commit. So now, if I was to run Sublime, you will see that our latest changes are still back at this stage where we didn't have anything, where we didn't have the Jupyter reference. But we want that Jupyter reference. So let's go ahead and get the changes from our repository. From there, we simply run git fetch. Actually, before that, let's go ahead and run status. It says right here, we are behind origin master by one commit. And you can git pull to go ahead. And some people will do a git fetch for either their repository or someone else's repository to pull the latest changes onto their computer without merging them in, just in case there's conflict. even once they're fetched, you'd still need to pull them in, and Sublime, even once the change has been pulled, has really not done anything. So to update, you would simply run git pull the repository name and then the branch name. So this is just pulling from our repository and putting us back up to date, like nothing has ever happened. However, if you're pulling from a Git repository and you're uncertain what kind of data they have and are worried that things may break if you do so, there's another way to do this. Let's go ahead and roll back that commit again. Just like that didn't happen. So, if you're worried that something may break on your local machine, you can always create a separate branch, like we just demonstrated. Right now, we only have master. I've deleted testing a while ago. But let's go ahead and create a branch. This will switch to a branch after it creates it. I'm going to call this one backup. Sorry, typos. These typos are going to continually kill me for time. So now we're on the branch backup. That is right now an exact copy of master in the stage where it only has up to H3. So from here, we can go back to our master branch, git pull origin master. And just like that, back up to date. However, we still have our previous branch for just in case something goes wrong. We have our other changes that were unmolested and unchanged when we need them. Backup is right there with just the H3s. Now, let's go ahead and get rid of that one because it's just unnecessary changes that we really don't need. After all, it's just an H3. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what a merge conflict looks like. To get started on this, let's go ahead and create a separate branch. And then we'll develop on both the separate branch and master, make changes on both of them, and show you what happens when you get conflicts. Check out dash B. Oh no. There we go. Inside of our branch, oh no, let's go ahead and add another H4. Actually, let's turn this into an H5. Let's put something along the lines of, oh my goodness. Save that. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and change this to Jupiter was gone. And now there we go. Oh no has a save point created where it has some changes made that we're going to need to do on master branch and create some problems. And now we're in master. Right now if I merge it in, it'll just take all the latest changes from our previous branch and merge them in. However, if this branch wasn't master, or perhaps someone wanted to make some changes on master and create a different H5, now we have two different versions. I'll just go ahead and add this real quick. And now we have two different versions that are completely separate. They have H5s that do not match each other, and they've both made changes to the H4 tag of Jupiter. So what do you think will happen when I tried to merge the changes in like we did in our previous exercise? I'll show you what happens. Git will throw errors, and there's a way to solve this. I believe I called the branch, oh no. You'll have right here, conflict content, merge conflict and index HTML. And this is simply Git's way of letting you know that there's been a lot of remote work done that needs to be modified and fixed. Automatic merge failed, fix conflicts, and then commit the result. So here's what it looks like. This is Git's way of showing you the differences between two branches, or in some cases, different commits. Head is a reference to your last commit on this branch. Oh no is a reference to the other branch. So this right here shows you Git version 1 and Git version 2. And you can go ahead and pick and choose which ones you want. So let's say I want to keep the H4 from our master branch, but I want the h5 from our ono branch. We can go ahead and remove those, get rid of the git tags, and now the problem is fixed, just like that. And when you get into thousands of lines of code, there can often be multiple conflicts, but this is just an example of how to fix a quick merge conflict. On a large scale, it's exactly the same. It just takes a little bit more time. And there we go. I suppose I'll go ahead and push this up to Git. Done. And now we should be right up to date with all of our latest. And that is how you solve a merge conflict. And now you know how to work with multiple repositories and solve merge conflicts. However, there's still one other thing that can be changed that can cause some problems. Say if the repository changes, or you want to push to a different repository, then you will need to reset the URL. And there's a way to do that. Let's say in our repository, we want to actually change it from first repo to first repository. It's renamed and done. However, now our Git on our local machine will have no idea of where to send the data. After all, if we run a git remote-v, it'll still list our old address. Right there, first repo. And there's a way to change this, because we try to push changes now, they're going to have issues, because it'll try to send them to a URL that does not exist. So to reset a URL, the command is simple. I believe I have it right over here. I believe it's a set URL. Yep. Git remote set URL. Actually, it's dash URL. Sorry. And then we're going to go ahead and put in the repository, in which our case is origin. And by default, the one you clone it down from will always be origin. And then we need to get the actual URL for it, because right now it's listing first repo. We need to switch that to first repository. So now that this is named first repository, you can just copy it right here on the clone or download button. And go ahead and paste that right in. And now we run git remote-v, it should list our updated changes. There we go. And now it's listing first repository as its origin. There you have it. Solving merge conflicts, resetting URLs, dealing with remote repositories. I will see you in the next video.